Don't come to my show and it's okay is what Sabrina said, as she's now being criticized for her tour outfits.
Don't come to my show. Don't come to my show if you can't handle it. That single, defiant sentence flashed across X like a warning flare and lit up every corner of the internet. Moments earlier, Sabrina Carpenter had stepped off stage in Manhattan, leaving behind a catwalk shaped, quite unmistakably, like male anatomy, and an arena buzzing with both adoration and outrage. 25 years old, petite as a ballerina, and armed with lyrics sharper than the glitter on her corset, the former Disney sweetheart had just declared war on the last scraps of her innocence.
I really think that the beauty of being this age is some days you can feel like truly borderline so conceited and obnoxiously confident.
Some fans called it fearless reinvention. Others called it calculated shock bait. Either way, you looked. And looking, whether you cheered or cringed, was exactly the point. Stick around, because the deeper we dig, the clearer it becomes. Sabrina isn't merely pushing boundaries. She's rewriting the entire map of who gets to control her story. But that flashpoint didn't appear out of thin air. Disney darling, frozen in time. Long before the lingerie and viral one-liners, Sabrina Ann Lynn Carpenter was Maya Hart, the wisecracking best friend on Girl Meets World.
But then when I look at it now, and I see how much those early albums meant to my fans when I was younger and I was the same age as them dealing with those things at that time, I don't regret it. I mean, maybe I don't like listening to it, but I don't regret it.
A role tailor-made to keep middle school parents comfortable. She sang wholesome ballads on Radio Disney's holiday specials, collected Kids' Choice Awards, and popped up at theme park parades like clockwork. Yet every Disney graduate faces the same black hole. The audience that once celebrated your teenage charm refuses to let you age. Push back too soon and you're branded inappropriate. Wait too long and you're irrelevant. Sabrina watched Miley swing on a wrecking ball, Demi shed Bandcamp innocence, and Selena walk a tightrope of subtle sensuality. Case studies in the impossible calculus of growing up on screen.
I guess one is like when you're texting someone and they text you like, hey, can I talk to you? You respond immediately. They disappear for 5 hours.
By late 2020, Carpenter felt the walls closing in. She'd banked a loyal fan base, but also inherited a set of shackles: the pastel wardrobe, the girl next door script, the assumption that she should sound grateful rather than ambitious. Something had to snap. The Island Records, pivot, innuendo goes mainstream. Snap it did in 2021, the moment she signed with Island Records. The label offered carte blanche and begged for an edge. Carpenter delivered Skin, a sly, clap-back track.
The urgency is now I'm really curious and now I'm going crazy. And maybe this is a tactic to get me to think about you. I've thought about that before as well, so if it is, well done.
Then doubled down with Nonsense, a fizzing pop gem that ended every concert with a brand new, ad-libbed line, usually borderline NSFW. Fans scrolled TikTok each night to see what spicy rhyme she'd toss out next. I'm full grown, but I look like a niña. Come put something big in my casita. Harmless flirtation? Maybe. Marketing gold? Absolutely. By freeing that single line from the studio version, she turned every tour stop into viral bait.
Have you ever been like online when people like go like completely take your words and turn them into something different?
Yeah.
Man, that's probably gonna happen in this one too, but it's okay.
Guaranteeing fresh clips before the crowd even climbed into the subway. The internet rewards novelty, and Sabrina had found a renewable resource. Still, novelty depreciates faster than a prom dress. The question wasn't whether she could shock, it was how long she could escalate without detonating her own brand. Shock therapy. Welcome to the Short and Sweet Tour. Escalation arrived dressed in crystals and garters. When the curtain rose on the Short and Sweet Tour, the stage itself took on a jaw-dropping shape.
And then all it takes is like someone saying one thing that just strikes a chord in you to be like, I'm actually the ugliest person to ever exist. And then it kind of is a big, flip-flop.
A glittering, phallic runway jutting halfway into the crowd. Between songs, Carpenter dropped into choreography that critics labeled textbook Kama Sutra. During the fan-favorite track Juno, She treated the mic stand like an audition for Magic Mike. One show with handcuffs, another with a feather boa, always ending in a pose daring the algorithm's censors to keep up. Music moguls, Mike Stock, Matt Aitken, and Pete Waterman blasted the visuals as lazy shock tactics, but ticket sales spiked anyway.
I used to be upset about that. I used to be upset about having 6 albums, especially at the age of 25, because I knew that if I started later, I creatively would have made very different choices.
And social clips racked up tens of millions of views. One outraged parent's Facebook rant equals 3 teenagers texting friends for last-minute seats. The math is brutal, but it's real. Every night ended the same. Cheers, gasps, and a fresh wave of think pieces asking whether we'd just witnessed empowerment or exploitation. Sabrina, all dimples and mile-high platform heels, blew kisses and let the debate pay her bills. The Lolita line, art or alarm bell? If the tour was a thunderclap, the aftershock hit in glossy print. W Magazine published a sprinkler-soaked photo spread of Carpenter in a ruffled bikini, echoing the infamous 1962 film adaptation of Lolita. In that movie, a 12-year-old girl is sexualized through her stepfather's gaze, one of literature's most unsettling premises. Sabrina's homage, intentional or not, detonated like dynamite in a powder keg. Thousands of reposts, hashtags accusing her of glamorizing predation, even a trending thread titled, "Your fave is selling forbidden fantasy." Her team insisted it was a vintage pinup pastiche, but the nuance evaporated in the hot take economy. Algorithms don't care about artistic intent. They care about traction, and traction, once again, ballooned her metrics. Kid-friendly platform, adult-only moves, the Fortnite flip-flop. Weeks later, Fortnite announced its newest festival skin, Sabrina Carpenter in thigh-high boots and a sparkly corset. In theory, it was brand synergy. Music meets gaming. In practice, that dancing avatar brought her tour choreography, tamed only slightly, into bedrooms worldwide where middle schoolers waged digital battle royales. Streamers clipped the more risque emotes. Parents fumed about soft-core DLC, and Epic Games quietly tweaked the animations. Too late, the outrage train had already left the station with Sabrina's name painted on every car. For critics, the Fortnite deal proved her team either didn't care about mixed messages or considered controversy cheaper than a Super Bowl ad. For fans, it was proof their fave had leveled up. Literally, persona versus person, living inside the character. Privately, Carpenter admitted the heightened sexuality once felt like playing a role. Early interviews catch her blinking as if surprised by her own candor. But repetition blurs the line between method acting and autobiography. After hundreds of shows, the cheeky grin calcifies. The teasing banter becomes reflex. Psychologists call it self-objectification, when performers start anticipating the audience's gaze before they feel their own thoughts. No one can say from the outside whether Sabrina's confidence is bulletproof or merely bullet-shaped body armor. What we do know is that each too far headline earns her more playlist placements, more brand deals, more oxygen. Fame is a furnace. Attention is the coal. Feed it or freeze. The branding crossroads history offers cautionary tales. Britney's snake charmed the VMAs until tabloids turned the spectacle against her. Lady Gaga's meat dress shocked exactly once, then forced her into ever wilder costumes to stay ahead of her own reputation. Even Madonna, the blueprint of pop reinvention, eventually traded provocation for legacy. Sabrina's sexy baby aesthetic walks that same knife edge. One mistimed stunt could cement her, not as a boundary pusher, but as the star who tiptoed across a moral tripwire and never found a second act. On the flip side, a graceful pivot, say, an unplugged EP revealing powerhouse vocals, or a Broadway debut showcasing gravitas, could recast her as multi-talented rather than one-note. The gamble is guessing which metamorphosis lands before public patience runs out. The romance rumor engine. No modern pop narrative is complete without a headline romance. Enter Barry Keoghan, the Irish actor whose rogue smile launched 1,000 fan edits. Their coy red carpet spin at the Met Gala, followed by that tongue-in-cheek cameo in the Please 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 video, set gossip blogs ablaze. The public loves a love story they can storyboard themselves, And Sabrina's lyric videos soon bulged with Easter eggs. Was that guitar riff a nod to Barry's hometown? Was that Polaroid on her vanity a date night selfie? Fan theories crowded out critics for a brief, profitable moment. Proof that romance, real or rumored, still sells more magazines than outrage alone. Outrage as oxygen, the economics of provocation. Strip away the sparkles and the moral debates, and a cold ledger remains. Outrage multiplies impressions. Impressions translate to streams. Streams convert to higher fees per festival. And elevated Q scores attract luxury brand partnerships. That feedback loop is a marketer's dream and an artist's double-edged sword. Because once you habituate your audience to controversy, silence becomes suffocating. One quiet month on social media feels like career slippage. Sabrina's Instagram grid tells the tale. Every third square is either a wardrobe malfunction meme or a cryptic caption inviting speculation. She isn't merely reacting to the machine. She's pulling levers from inside the cockpit. The road ahead, reinvention or redundancy? So, what happens next? Insiders hint at a stripped-back mini-album, live takes, minimal production, lyrical depth. Others whisper about a neon punk era, doubling the glitter and decibel count. A left-field rumor places her in workshops for a dark Broadway revival, hoping to unlock respect from theater critics who still discount pop stars as auto-tune products. Whatever comes, Carpenter must evolve on a knife-thin schedule, linger in the current persona too long, and she risks self-parody, pivot too abruptly, and she looks inauthentic. It's the tightrope every 20-something in the spotlight walks, but hers is slick with the extra oil of controversy she poured herself. Spectacle, sincerity, and the price of control. Disney minted Sabrina Carpenter as the girl next door, but pop fame recast her as a lightning rod. Each time critics try to pin her down, too sexy, too cynical, too childish, she slips into a new headline, leveraging the uproar as launch fuel. That dance is exhilarating to watch and exhausting to perform. Is she an empowered auteur selling a carefully honed persona? Or is she trapped in an outrage algorithm that rewards self-objectification? The truth might be both. What's undeniable is her mastery of the modern fame equation. In 2025, attention is worth more than record sales, and she's securing compound interest. But compound interest accrues debt. The higher she climbs, the thinner the air, and the louder the crash if misstep meets fatigue. Until that day, Sabrina Carpenter will keep strutting down a glitter-coated runway, daring every critic to blink first. So, here's the question echoing after the house lights rise. Is Sabrina Carpenter blazing a liberating trail for pop stars, or proving how easily sincerity can turn into spectacle when numbers rule the charts? Drop your thoughts below and brace yourself, because whatever answer you choose, she's already drafting the next plot twist.